Hey guys, this is a Chichi Moment. We're gonna teach you how to make an iPad mini case for your iPad. And I've got you guys up there so you can kind of see everything here. But I went to the store and I tried to buy an iPad cover. They're 40 bucks. So I said negative, Ghost Rider. But here's some things you're gonna need first, okay? Save your box from the iPad because what you will need is this little plastic insert right here, okay? So that's the first thing you're gonna need. Then you're also going to need a composition notebook. Just a regular composition notebook, okay? And then I got this from Walmart. It's just a little notepad, but this is actually plastic. This has like a hard plastic on it, and it's just a little notebook. Okay? And you're gonna need just a little, this one is actually glittery. I don't know if you can see that really well, but this is just, again, another notebook. And the reason why you're going to want these notebooks that are plastic is because you're going to cut this, okay? I've already cut it. So you're going to need that cover. You're going to need this cover. You don't need the books, and you're going to need this. And what you're going to want to do, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a little box cutter, a ruler, and a razor blade. On the composition book, when you open it up to the front, you're going to see strings right there. And all you do with that razor blade is cut all the strings, and the paper comes right out, just like that. So these things you do not need, no longer are in need of, and you do need this from the iPad box, so, okay? So, now you have your iPad plastic, your little composition cover, your little plastic cover from the notepad, and your little glitter cover from the notepad. What I've done with this, I've already pre-measured the iPad, the circumference of the iPad, plus the little half-inch border all the way around. And what I've done on the inside of this notepad is, I don't know if you can see that yellow line, but that yellow line, we're just going to take our knife and line her up like so. And you're going to want to cut on the inside of where you lined it. And don't throw the piece away because you're going to need that for later. Just give her a nice cut. Okay, so now I'm going to take this now you've got this little square, it should match up to this square. So essentially this is what's going to happen. This is going to be the front of the iPad cover, and this is going to be the back of the iPad cover, okay? And this is going to be the inside of the iPad. And I can't show you because my iPad's up there right now, but the thickness of this is going to be the thickness of your iPad. And what I need to do is I need to measure the iPad, the thickness of it, and I'll be right back with you, okay? One moment. Okay, I'm back. And how are you going to measure the thickness of this? Put your paper back in here before you take it out. You know, the thickness of the book. And just kind of, I use the yellow highlighter. And just set it on a flat surface. And what you're going to do is basically go by the thickness of the book, which is right about like that. And so all you're going to do is highlight the side of this plastic on all four sides. And don't worry about getting this composition book marked on, because you're not going to see it. So now you've got this yellow line of the thickness of your book. Next, you are going to very carefully cut the circumference of what you just highlighted. Okay? And the easiest way to do that is if you cut into one corner and then cut down. Kind of like at an angle. And then what I do is I kind of notch out this section because I'm going to use my scissors. So just cut a piece off like this. That way you can actually get in there with a pair of scissors and it's a lot easier to cut. Okay? And just follow that line, which is the thickness of the book. It makes it a lot easier to cut with the scissors rather than the razor blade. It's the same. It's a lot safer too. So now we have this little piece, and this border has been cut, okay? Now, this inside, we don't need this inside piece, but what you want to do is you see this, it's kind of ridged. You're going to cut all along this area right here, okay? So, what it's going to look like, I'm going to have to use a razor, so be careful for this part. You're going to cut out right on the side. That. And so you're basically creating a frame for your iPad now on the inside of your cover. Okay? And this, your iPad will actually fit inside of this. If you're wondering why I'm cutting this. This is what will hold your iPad into place. And trust me guys, this is a lot cheaper to make your own than to go out and buy one of those expensive ones. There's no need to spend all that money, okay? But if you don't want to fool with making your own, then hey, that's perfectly fine. I'm just, you know, I do the whole drag on a dime. I do other stuff on a dime too. It is. Okay, so now we've cut this piece out. See that? And next thing we're going to do is cut this piece off. So we're just going to end up, the top's going to end up looking like that. Okay? So we don't need her. Just as straight as you can get it. It don't have to be perfect. And again, we're just making a base for this iPad to sit in. You could actually just follow this with a pair of scissors if you want. This gives it a cleaner cut, I guess. Now that we've cut that out, this is what you have, okay? So you have this. So now what we've done is we've got this and this. Essentially, this is what's going to be hot glued to the inside of this right here, okay? But we're not done. I'm going to take a break and I'll edit this video and stuff, but that's the idea here. And basically this is our cover on this side, okay? And we're going to cut this composition, and basically we're going to have this as our inside, like this, okay? The frame, this is the outside, as well as this is the back. Why the composition? Because this is actually like a tape kind of fabric, so that'll allow us to open and close our iPad. So now what we need to do is basically, I need to trim this to this measurements. And when you trim this to this measurement, you're not going to make it exactly, because it's got this tape right here. So you're going to leave this little column on the front and back and measure from the black line over. So when you measure, it almost goes to the end like this. Okay? See that? So you're going to have this, because you don't want this restricting the actual binder. So when you cut, you're going to trim it here, and you're going to trim it here. So rather than you guys watching me do all this, I'm going to pause it, and then I'll come back. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is notch out your thing right here. So just cut off your left side. You want to make a notch right here for your power. You want to make a notch right here for your volume and mute. And you also want to make a notch right here for your power cord. Again, I'm just using the yellow highlighter. And now you should end up with something that looks like this. Okay? That's what your iPad is actually going to sit down in as a base inside the cover. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is notch out your thing right here. So just cut off your left side. You want to make a notch right here for your power. You want to make a notch right here for your volume and mute. And you also want to make a notch right here for your power cord. Again, I'm just using the yellow highlighter. And now you should end up with something that looks like this. Okay? That's what your iPad is actually going to sit down in as a base inside the cover. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, next what you're going to do is open up your composition notebook. Take your pre-cut plastic piece. You're going to put it up against the inside like this. And you're going to draw with your highlighter like that on both sides and cut the composition book to match the size of this. And this right here is actually going to be your border. So your iPad's going to be like 1.5 inch inset of this right here. So I will be back. Okay, I'm back, guys. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I forgot to tell you guys, get a piece of black felt, because what you're going to need to do, now that we've cut our composition book to match this size right here, that's the cover, or the back, and then here is, we got this back first. There's the back, there's the cover. There's the front, there's the back. So it's going to open like this. And my dogs are freaking out. Somebody's here. But what you want to do is cut a piece of felt. And you're going to actually hot glue this in here with a little bit of a border all the way around, okay? So I'm going to glue that. And I will be back in 1 moment. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. I have hot glued my piece of felt on this side of the page, so when I close it, it'll actually be the cover to the screen. Here I have hot glued a hair tie, a flat hair tie, and I've hot glued down this and this along my line. As you can see, I made a notch for the rubber band, and I made also a notch here for the rubber band. So when it's closed, now it looks like this. Okay? So it looks just like a composition book closed. However, we're not done. The next step is to secure our front and our back to our book. And I will be back. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. I have hot glued my piece of felt on this side of the page, so when I close it, it'll actually be the cover to the screen. Here I have hot glued a hair tie, a flat hair tie, and I've hot glued down this and this along my line. As you can see, I made a notch for the rubber band, and I made also a notch here for the rubber band. So when it's closed, now it looks like this. Okay? So it looks just like a composition book closed. However, we're not done. The next step is to secure our front and our back to our book. And I will be back. Hey guys, okay. This is the finished product of the iPad mini holder. Here's the back and here's the front. I don't know if you can see this. I've also made a Velcro little clasp. You open it up, your iPad sits right here. Here is your felt to protect your screen. And closes up. Made this for about $3. Forget $39.99. And there you have it, folks. iPad mini holder on a dime. Talk to you later.